Now, the TPP, as is always the case, is supported by Wall Street. It is supported by corporate America. It is supported by all of the big money issues. But I believe that if we stand together, we can, in fact, defeat it if and when it comes up in the lame duck session. And let me just say a few words about this issue, and I want to say a few words about it because it often does not get a lot of attention on the media, in the media. It's a study done, I think, a year ago, which showed that in television, trade issues are almost never, ever talked about. What the TPP is about, and what previous trade agreements were about, are forcing American workers to compete against people who make pennies an hour. It is about corporations who go from country to country in search of the cheapest possible labor they can find. Our disastrous trade policies have cost us millions of good-paying jobs, and it is part of the race to the bottom. Instead of uplifting people all over the world, people are becoming poorer. Also within the TPP, there is a provision called the investor-state dispute system. Anybody heard of that? Good. Not a sexy issue. It is of enormous importance. Unbelievably, what that provision says is that a foreign investor, i.e. a major multinational corporation, can go to an international tribunal made up of 3 corporate lawyers if they believe that their future profits were harmed as a result of a governmental decision. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, it is so crazy, it is hard to imagine. Right now, let me just give you a few examples of what that means in a very concrete sense. Right now, as you know, President Obama killed the Keystone Pipeline, which was the right thing to do. And he did it, and many of us urged him to do it. I think I was the very first senator out there in opposition to the pipeline. He did it because he understood that excavating and transporting some of the dirtiest fuel in the world would accelerate the crisis of climate change. So he did the right thing. But as a result of the investor-state dispute system in NAFTA, do you know what's happening right now? TransCanada, the owner of the Keystone Pipeline, is suing the taxpayers of the United States for $15 billion because they believe that decision impacted their future profits. Can you appreciate how insane that is? Now, you can argue, people can argue about the Keystone Pipeline. Right? Most of us are opposed to it, and we applauded the president for killing it. Others support it, and that's called democracy. We have different points of view. But the idea that a major multinational corporation can sue us for $15 billion because the president made the decision that he thought right tells you what trade agreements are all about. They are designed to protect corporate profits and to help with the environment, human rights, health care, or the needs of the people. And that is why the TPP has got to be defeated. And let me just tell you one other example. I know you're going to think that I'm not telling you the truth because this is so insane, but it is true. Uruguay, tiny, tiny, tiny country in Latin America. They elected a president who was an oncologist, some guy who's concerned about cancer. And what he did is put together a very strong anti-tobacco campaign. And among other things, what they did, which is, I believe, the right thing to do, because tobacco kills, What they did is had on the cigarette packages really ugly stuff about diseased lungs or diseased lips, making it very clear that if anybody wanted to buy that package of cigarettes, they were endangering their health big time. That's what they did. And it was a successful campaign. Well, guess what happened? Philip Morris was very upset. They make money by poisoning children and people and creating cancer for those people. And Philip Morris was very upset that their profits were being impacted because they could no longer cause cancer to the people of Uruguay. And they went to and are there right now, in an international tribunal, telling that tribunal that because the government of Uruguay tried to protect their children from getting cancer, they were losing profits, and that they were entitled to a settlement from Uruguay. Can you believe how crazy that is? It is. It is exactly criminal, and that is why we have got to defeat the TPP, and it is why we have got to rethink trade policies in this country to make sure that they work for working people here, for poor people all over the world, and not just the CEOs